Spoiler alert, Roman Reigns vs. Drew McIntyre reportedly set to feature major shenanigans and title change at WWE Clash at the Castle. WWE plans for Brock Lesnar to return and face Bobby Lashley. Bayley backs Sasha Banks and Naomi. WWE veteran slams Karrion Kross following SmackDown debut. Current champion opens up on The Rock potentially re-signing with WWE. Sneak peek at the final grand set for WWE Clash at the Castle. Let's jump right into our first story of the day. WWE plans for Brock Lesnar to return and face Bobby Lashley. Former WWE champion Brock Lesnar could reportedly be returning to the company for the next Saudi Arabia event to face Bobby Lashley. The Beast Incarnate last wrestled in the main event of SummerSlam 2022 earlier this year, where he faced Roman Reigns in a last man standing match. After an enthralling battle, the Tribal Chief was able to defeat Lesnar with the help of the Usos to retain his titles. Lesnar has since been on a hiatus from the company. According to a report from Zero News, there are early plans for the Beast Incarnate to return for the next big Saudi Arabia show. The current pitched idea is for Brock Lesnar to face former WWE champion Bobby Lashley. The next WWE Crown Jewel show in Saudi Arabia is set to take place on November 5, 2022. The Almighty and Lesnar faced each other earlier this year at WWE Royal Rumble 2022. After a hard-hitting match with some outside shenanigans from Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley defeated the Beast Incarnate to become the new WWE champion. Speaking on Ryan Satin's Out of Character podcast, Lashley stated that he wasn't satisfied with their match at Royal Rumble as he wanted a bigger story and more training. Lashley further highlighted that there's still a lot of unfinished business between him and Brock Lesnar, hinting at a future rematch. There's a lot of stuff that we could have done in that match. People want to see us fight, people want to see us wrestle, people want to see us in professional wrestling. They want to see it all. We could have given them all of that within a couple of months, but we didn't. So there's still a lot of unfinished business there, Lashley added. WWE is known to call back veterans and part-time stars for the shows in Saudi Arabia, and Brock Lesnar has heavily featured in past iterations of these shows. It remains to be seen whether the former WWE champion will return to the company at the Saudi event. Would you like to see Lesnar vs. Lashley once again in Saudi Arabia? Let us know in the comments section below. Bayley backs Sasha Banks and Naomi. WWE superstar Bayley has backed the duo of Sasha Banks and Naomi, stating that she supports them 100%. Banks and Naomi have been off WWE television since May after they walked out from an episode of Raw due to creative differences. The duo haven't been released from the company and are still under contract. Ahead of this week's Clash at the Castle show, Bayley spoke to Sports Illustrated, where she was asked if the sideline duo would be a fit for her faction. The former Raw Women's Champion said that she hasn't yet decided if they will be a part of her faction, but they have her wholehearted support. I haven't thought about whether they would join or whether we would be against them, but something would arise. I just want them to know I support them 100%, no matter what, said Bayley. Bayley also named Banks as the best in the world, alongside her current faction partner, Io Sky. In an interview with Ariel Helwani of BT Sport, head of creative, Triple H, said that the door is open for Sasha Banks to return and that the reason she walked away was because of a communication breakdown. Time will tell, yeah, time will tell. Yeah, I think in a lot of ways communication breakdowns are terrible, and there's a communication breakdown there for whatever reason, said the Game. Triple H also praised the boss in ring ability as well as away from pro wrestling, possibly referring to her career as an actor. Time will tell if the former women's tag team champions will ever return to the company, but with Triple H now in charge, there's a greater possibility of it happening. Would you like to see Sasha Banks and Naomi return? Sound off in the comments section below. WWE veteran slams Karrion Kross following SmackDown debut. Karrion Kross had an impressive in-ring debut on SmackDown. He took on former champion Drew Gulak in what was a one-sided squash match. The veteran was not pleased and called his treatment pitiful. Kross has been looming over Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre for a while now. However, what we have seen from him since his return was only promos and subtle messages sent to his rival. On the latest episode of SmackDown, he squashed Drew Gulak and tied him between the ropes to make a statement. On Twitter after SmackDown, WWE veteran Drew Gulak slammed Karrion Kross for not letting go of the sleeper hold despite the match being over. If a man submits in a sleeper hold, you let it go. You don't keep it on. I can admit when I'm beat, but this kind of treatment is pitiful. No respect. Even after his match on SmackDown, he sent a message to Roman Reigns in the form of flowers. Sami Zayn, who received it and implied that it had a wretched smell. It's not known whether the Tribal Chief even got them or not. Either way, it will be interesting to see how things play out for the recently returned WWE star along with his wife Scarlett. Fans can expect more such pitiful treatment from Kross towards other superstars. Current champion opens up on The Rock potentially re-signing with WWE. WWE Intercontinental Champion Gunther recently opened up about The Rock potentially re-signing with WWE. The Rock was arguably one of the biggest superstars in the Attitude Era before eventually leaving for Hollywood. However, the People's Champion returned to in-ring action 7 years later and even won the WWE Championship at Royal Rumble 2013. He wrestled in his last match and defeated Eric Rowan at WrestleMania 32. Since then, the Hollywood megastar has been involved in several Hollywood projects such as Jumanji, The Fate of the Furious, DC League of Super Pets, Hobbs & Shaw, and Red Notice. Sportskeeda Wrestling recently caught up with WWE Intercontinental Champion Gunther and asked him his thoughts about the most electrifying superstar re-signing with the company. To this, the former NXT UK champion replied that it would be good, considering he is one of the biggest superstars in the world right now. I mean, it's going to be good for the company if he does. He's one of the biggest superstars in the world right now. So if he re-signs for WrestleMania, it's going to be great for the industry, Gunther said. Gunther is set to defend his Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus at WWE Clash at the Castle in Cardiff on September 3, 2022. According to reports by Dave Meltzer, WWE is currently planning a match between The Rock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39. For several years, rumors about a dream match between the two cousins have been rampant. However, given Dwayne's busy Hollywood schedule, nothing has come to fruition. Although WWE is interested in bringing the Great One back for this dream match, only time will tell whether a match between the two behemoths will take place. Roman Reigns is the current undisputed Universal Champion and has been on a dominant run for the past 2 years. Given the circumstances, it would only be fitting if the person to dethrone the head of the table was his cousin. Even hardcore legend Mick Foley urged WWE not to take the title off Reigns until he faced the Brahma Bull. This would add another layer to an already intriguing storyline between the two superstars. Do you think The Rock will re-sign with WWE? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Sneak peek at the final grand set for WWE Clash at the Castle. We are mere hours away from the highly anticipated premium live event in the UK WWE Clash at the Castle. We now have a sneak peek into the grand set prepared for the show at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales. WWE Clash at the Castle would be the first major stadium event for the promotion in the UK in nearly 30 years. The company has done a great job in hyping up the event and building the card. With the recent shift in power inside the company and Triple H taking over as the head of creative, the overall excitement levels have increased. In the video, you can see a glimpse of the final set of WWE Clash at the Castle. The setup looks grand and fitting for an occasion like this. Some previous photos have also revealed further details on what the plan is for the ramp and the idea of the ring being the castle grounds where the matches will take place. As of the writing, 6 matches are scheduled for Clash at the Castle tonight. There will be 3 championship matches, including the main event between undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. Spoiler alert: Roman Reigns vs. Drew McIntyre reportedly set to feature major shenanigans and title change at WWE Clash at the Castle. WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns is set to defend his titles against Drew McIntyre at WWE Clash at the Castle in the UK tonight. We now have reports on the interesting current plans for the outcome of this match. Roman Reigns has dominated the WWE roster for over 2 years now and has held on to the Universal Championship. At WrestleMania 38 earlier this year, he won the WWE Championship as well. However, he has found himself in a major clash against arguably his biggest challenge yet, Drew McIntyre. The question now is, will the Tribal Chief finally get dethroned tonight? Ahead of the highly anticipated clash, Zero News has reported that the main event is set to feature some major shenanigans. The Clash main event will feature major shenanigans. It won't be a clean match. They have also reported that the current plan does not have Roman Reigns leaving with both the titles, if any titles, hinting that there are chances of Reigns losing just one of his 2 titles. At this moment, the main event plans do not have Roman leaving with both titles, if any titles, reported Zero News. Dr. Chris Featherstone recently reported on his Pancakes and Powerslam's podcast that former Universal Champion Bray Wyatt is set for a potential return tonight at WWE Clash at the Castle and can get involved in the world title storyline. While there is no confirmation on what the exact plans are, Wyatt might interfere in the match. This is the news I received from a source within WWE. Now, of course, things are subject to change, and this is information that I'm receiving. This isn't something that I am like, this is going to happen, but this is a reputable source within WWE, noted Dr. Chris Featherstone. This is what's going to happen. Right now, the plan is for Bray Wyatt to return at Clash at the Castle with an immediate storyline for the title. Roman Reigns losing the world titles would surely be a huge moment considering how dominating he has been over the last 2 years with his historic title run. Do you think it is the current time for WWE to take the titles off him? Share your thoughts in the comments section below.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back